What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Kisscapades Podcast, and today I have a very lovely guest and
Hi,
friend
guys.
of mine,
Alisha Popat.
Alisha Popat.
I mean, I shouldn't have to introduce myself. That's really weird.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Actually, I was just about to say, like, do you mind introducing yourself?
Oh, well,
So just
sure
introduce
thing.
yourself and tell guys a bit of what you do, and then I'll just break it down from there.
Okay, perfect. So I'm a singer-songwriter from Kenya.
Award-winning?
Award-winning. I wouldn't say. Well, I have won a few awards. That is true. I'm not. I have indeed.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. All my life, being a musician, and then now recently expanding and scaling that to also do video production, content creation, as well as now owning 2 businesses. So I'm also trying to put my hands in the entrepreneurial. How do you entrepreneur? That word. I'm trying to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
you have a lot going on.
I do.
Plus, you've been doing it for the longest time I can remember.
Yeah, since.
I didn't know until after we met, and then I had to do my research because at times when you meet somebody, you do exchange social media contacts and stuff,
Right.
but you also have to get the background
The
information.
background.
Maybe.
Actually, we met in a really beautiful situation.
It
didn't
was,
we?
right?
It was so nice.
Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, we met at Alchemist,
Yeah.
and it was just such a cool conversation. And we were both we need to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from there, every time we met, we're yo, we need to do something. Let's do something.
Exactly.
Which we did a couple of reviews. I think
couple
one
of
or
food
2
reviews.
food reviews.
I mean, whenever you call me and say, "Hey, Alisha, come to this delicious restaurant and
Yeah.
eat with me, and then let's talk about the food," I'm like, "Yes."
And she
I'm a very
always
big
comes
foodie.
through. You always come through. You always come through. So, today on my podcast, on this
Right.
platform, what we normally try and do is, for all the guests that I invite, we talk about the 4 pillars of life. I don't know
Okay.
whether you try and balance them out. I don't know whether you're aware of the 4 pillars of life.
I'm assuming it'd probably be work, family, rest and recreation,
Yeah, more or less the same.
Yeah.
I say health,
health. Okay.
wealth,
Right. Health, wealth. Okay.
love,
Love.
and happiness.
So 3 of those I'm very well versed in. The wealth side of things, not so much.
Hey, come on. But wealth, we don't mean
wealth in terms of
just you
everything
can do.
that's coming into your life.
Yeah, you can
Sure.
pay a couple of bills here and there.
Yeah,
I'm not saying super wealthy. Wealth can be.
But to be comfortable.
Yeah, you can be comfortable.
Right.
And pay for your food. You're not thrown out of the house.
That's for sure.
No,
That's for sure.
You're not dining and dashing.
No,
That's
no,
what I'm
not
talking
yet,
about.
Not
Yeah.
yet. I've never done that before.
So, let's just start with the work situation.
Okay.
Like what you do for a living. I know you do music. I know
Yes.
you do content creation,
Yes.
production,
Yep.
and
And
now-
now recently,
the Masai
markets.
markets,
Yeah.
which is to me, I really need to understand how that
How that
works.
Okay.
So we'll get to that.
Perfect.
So which one do you think we should start with? Should we
Well,
start with music?
Let's start with the music.
Yeah,
mean,
'cause
that's
I think
my
a lot
number
of-
one, right?
That's your
That's
number
my
one.
number one.
That's your love. That's
my
what you love doing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
you've been doing it for, let's say, more than 10 years.
Oh yeah, much
Or
more than
since
10.
you're
No, more
small,
than 10
right?
years, yeah. And I
Since-
think I would say professionally, really, really professionally,
Yeah.
from, say, 2008.
From 2008.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, I think Alisha is one of the Kenyan artists who clocked 1 million views on a video.
54 million.
54 million views. 54 million
54
views.
million. It was a
And
collaboration with Lindsay Sterling,
listen. That's besides the point. She has 54 million views
Yeah.
on one of her music videos. So if you didn't know, now you know. And that's just one of the... And this was just way back before
6
people
years
even...
ago, yeah.
6 years ago,
About
before even
6
people
years
started
ago.
paying attention to YouTube a
Yeah,
lot.
exactly.
She had been doing that
For ages.
For ages.
absolute ages, yeah.
So can we say you have is there anyone else with a 54 million
I
in
don't
Kenya?
think so. I don't think so.
So she holds the
so.
record of the music video with the most views.
I mean, I have to. I love to have that title, honestly. But
Listen,
I also
it's there.
It's there. But I
It's
also,
there.
I mean, it's a collaboration with
Yeah.
with a pretty massive YouTuber, Lindsay Sterling.
Mhm.
But
How did
both
that
of
come
us-
about? How did that come about?
So Venn Tribe, which was my cousin's new venture at the time. It was a new startup. He had got Devin Supertramp, who's an amazing production YouTuber. I mean, you know Devin.
Yes. Yeah.
To come down and film something. And
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
Devin Supertramp was dating Lindsay. I had no idea. As soon as I found out that she was potentially coming to Kenya, I basically harassed her on all media platforms.
Like, yo, let's
Exactly.
let's do this.
And we decided to do a song together, and then Devin filmed it. Lindsay edited it. We took her all around Kenya. It was such an amazing experience. Super raw, no planning for this.
So jealous.
For this video, we just had the song that we recorded, and we had no idea that it would just go viral. We had no idea. We really had no idea.
Supertramp.
No, because he filmed it, but
just the production, even from the production.
But she edited it. Lindsay edited it as an amateur editor at the time.
Oh no, but it looks amazing.
And it looks amazing, right? So we really had no idea that it would
blow up.
peak that way. And also remember, Devin wasn't he didn't blow up by then.
Oh, he still wasn't.
This was six and a half
But that
years
just
ago.
means like you are hands-on with what's happening online already.
Absolutely. I mean, I made online my thing. I just decided, look, there's this new platform. How am I going to build the bridge between Kenyan music and international music? How is this small girl, small little tadpole in this small little pond in Kenya going to manage to make it in some way? And the only way I could think of is using YouTube. So I decided to really dedicate a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of energy into YouTube.
Wow. But yeah, long story short, on that story, she has the most views on a music video in Kenya.
Please watch it. We found love.
I'll put the link down below, so make sure you watch it.
Yeah.
So talking more about music, I noticed like you sort of like have moved away from like mainstream music. You prefer doing like more
singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, like small acoustic settings and stuff. Like,
sure.
What made you move in towards that direction, or why did you choose that path? And like, let's say, like I don't need to do like
Massive big gigs.
Or just even like mainstream music that's playing on radio all the time and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that at a certain age, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm crazy old. That's not what I mean. Yeah. But your priorities change.
You want to talk about your age first?
You want to talk about my age?
No. Let's.
Everyone, you want to guess? You want to guess my age?
Oh yeah, no. Let's do the guessing game, because I think this is a thing that we can do like online. So I'll just put like a poll.
Right.
And you just guess like Alisha Popat's age, and if you can get the age right, I think I'll find a voucher or something to treat you guys.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so let's do the guessing game.
Perfect.
But yeah, let's go back to what we're talking about.
Yeah, so what were we talking about?
Why you decided to like sort of lean back from like the mainstream, working towards like mainstream. Yeah.
So I think, again, you get older, your priorities change, and I just realized that although I love the industry so much, it's incredibly taxing. I mean, and it's a really difficult industry.
It's exhausting.
It's
the
exhausting.
Kenyan industry.
Yes, it really is exhausting. and I just feel like there's a lot of challenges, and it was just getting to a point that my kind of music, the kind of music I love, the kind of music I sing, was never really something that was appreciated, say 6 years ago, for example. Yeah. And now it is. Now alternative music, people love this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But more than that, I just realized that music is really for me, and anything that tarnishes it, anyone that I work with that tarnishes it, anything in the industry that makes me resent music is not worth it. I want music to be with me, to be for me and with me forever. And so I decided to do it the way I want to do it. Yeah. And that is, even if my music inspires or moves one person, but it really moves that one person, then, I mean, what else do I really want in this world? That's what I want. That's what makes sense to me.
So you're not even out there trying to look for validation, because I guess a lot of artists are always, that's what they want.
We're always looking for validation, for sure. I mean, I think, the thing that's always been with me is that everyone calls me the cover queen, because I cover every song.
Oh yeah.
And there are not a lot of originals hanging out there. I do have 4 or 5 originals out there, but they were just as singles.
But
And
how you do it, it's just different and amazing.
thank you. And I
Yeah.
think the reason why, with originals, you really do want that validation. That is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
scary part,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not everybody is a songwriter.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now that I would love to think that I'm a great songwriter. I pursued journalism and writing in university, so I'm a good writer, but that doesn't make you a good songwriter.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still struggling with that, and I'm thinking, if you put your originals out there and people don't like them, then you're not a good songwriter, and thus you're probably
No.
not a good, musician.
Like,
And
right.
No, and that's been the struggle in my head for so
Oh,
many
yeah,
years.
yeah.
And now I'm like, you know what? It's absolutely not the case. I express myself in so many ways. I feel like my music, the tone of my music is super emotional, and that's how I express it. And yes, it's taken a really long time to get that album out, and it is coming, but it's a personal journey.
Yeah.
It's something that's a testament to everything you've experienced and what's in your heart, and I don't want that to be a pressure on me. And of course I'm looking for validation, but not to the extent that I was, say, 5-6
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. Like maybe as compared
People
to
are
back
going
then.
to dig my stuff. Not everybody's going to dig it, but people are going to dig it, and that makes me so happy.
No, but what you're doing right now, that's like even the trend. It's like almost like the Janae Aiko feeling kind of music. That's
Right.
what you currently are doing. And
Yeah.
everybody's like just relating to that and maybe tapping to your emotions and stuff.
Exactly.
But as guys, we don't want to look soft, so we can't talk about that. But what do you think about, okay, before like I move from the music side, because we just have like so much going
talk
on, like
about,
yeah. So I don't want to dwell on just one, and I really want to make sure I ask everything, with the shortest time I can have, because she
Perfect.
has some famous shit to do all the time. So what do you think of the current state of like Kenyan music? Yeah.
I mean, we could talk
it's
about
been a
this
debate
for
this
hours,
year. Yeah.
but I will. I mean, I can put it in a few words, I
Yeah.
guess, or
Yeah.
rather a few minutes.
Yeah.
So where Kenyan music has gone from 6-7 years ago to now is leaps and bounds. I think that our musical scene is exploding in every possible way. People are actually opening their eyes to storytellers, like Tetushani, who is literally, for me, the best musician in this country. People like Maya von Lecko, it's just amazing artists.
Yeah.
And also Yellow Machine, is it called?
Yeah. I think it's a band of, are they three?
It's an indie. I mean, these are
the
such
indie,
exactly.
Yeah.
And also, we have heavy metal at the moment. We have everything. We have EDM. We have a house.
We have everything.
Exactly. So I think that in terms of like how music is exploding in this country, it's just beautiful to see, and we're at the right place at the right time. But all of this talent, and no airplay. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, all of this talent, but no payment. So how are we supposed to sustain our lives, our livelihoods?
Yeah.
And then again, all of this talent, and all of the people who want, who want gigs or corporate events, they want to hear cover songs, which is good for me.
Yeah.
lot
Of
of the
course,
time.
for you it's good for you, but I'm
But
guessing as an artist you'd be
We're
frustrated.
Not, exactly. First of all, we're not working together as a community of musicians. We're not working together as a community of, sort of to bring up Kenyan music and play Kenyan music.
Yeah.
And, Nigerians, the reason why they do so well is because they play Nigerian music.
Yeah.
So everybody knows who the artists are. They celebrate the music. We need to be able to do that too.
I think Nigerians have really pushed the envelope. When you see
pushed the envelope.
people like in Russia like dancing to Nigerian songs,
and that's what we should be doing.
they're being
too.
used in like movies right now,
Right.
video games and everything. They've really made being like the African trend and just like
Exactly.
they've really made it even a possibility for other African countries
To do the same.
to do the same.
And I just don't understand where we're going wrong, because honestly, we have just too much talent and potential
Yeah.
in this country,
Yeah.
and everybody is working so hard at it. everyone's working so hard at it. So we have all of the ingredients to make a beautiful recipe, but somehow things are just not working out right.
So, I mean, do we say that there's a possibility of change right now? Because everybody has been singing the same song for over like probably 3 years
And
now.
nothing is happening.
There's no more airplay Kenyan music. There's no more better payment when it comes to artists, not
Right.
unless it's from people like Safaricom who like
Exactly.
have really changed
Change
like,
the game.
like it changed the game. Even musicians, lifestyles and everything, they've really come in and
But I mean, I do think that
Yeah.
there's potential for that change, but I think it's just a lot slower than it should be.
yeah.
And thank you so much. And I'm super hopeful. I'm super hopeful that that the Kenyan music will be played. And it's not, again, there was a formula back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be played on radio, there was a formula. Follow the
Just
formula.
play this and-
exactly.
Yeah.
Create the song using this formula and you'll be fine. And now it's just so many different genres and dimensions of music. I mean, it's exciting. I don't understand why there isn't airplay. We have great, great music coming out of this country.
This looks good.
It does look good. This is what I need after a long production
What's
day.
that?
Ginger, honey, and lemon. And they
Oh,
mix
yeah.
it into this just delicious. It feels like a dawa.
Plus it's Plus
It
it's
is
good for
basically
your
dawa.
voice, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just hope like even from like just individuals we can try and maneuver in a way we can try and change the music industry, but it's not just artists. It has to be part of the government.
Of course.
All these like associations that have been
Radio,
put in place.
TV.
Yeah, radio. It starts with us. So
Starts with us. We
there's-
can do it.
There's nothing wrong with Nigerian music, but you also have to understand if you listen to it repeatedly, you will get influenced by them. So they are not doing anything wrong. It's just like even for our radio stations, TV,
Right.
we just have to try and
push it.
So let's just move from music.
Okay.
But okay, in fact, even before we just move from music, just one last question on music side.
Go
eh?
for it.
Like when you're growing up, because we all had like these conventional jobs that our parents wanted us to do.
Yeah, I did the exact opposite.
Yeah. So what did your parents want you to do when you were growing up? Not what you wanted,
what
because
they
it's like
wanted.
parents always
What
had
they
like that
wanted.
plan of like
Well, so I mean, of course, coming from an Indian family,
Yeah.
they'd be like, become a lawyer, become a doctor.
Doctor.
Exactly. But my parents knew that wasn't in my DNA. They just knew that I was meant to be in some way a performer, in some way an artist. So I've always loved writing, and
Yeah.
I've always I've just it sounds weird, enjoyed the sound of my own voice. So what they wanted me to do is I wanted to go to music school, and they said, look, go and get a degree. Once you finish that degree, you can do what you want. And I did a degree in journalism, feature writing, broadcast journalism, radio. And my parents always saw me as a news anchor. That's what they
Wow.
wanted from me. They wanted me to be a news anchor like Zain Verji on CNN.
Ooh.
And so, when I
And
did
here
that-
you go, start being a rebel.
And then I'm being a rebel and just being like, no, I'm going to be a musician. But I mean, I did a stint in TV, I did a stint in radio, and I really enjoyed it for sure. But I just feel like when you know 120%, even at a young age, that this
Yeah.
is something you just want. I mean, nothing else makes sense. This is
Yeah.
what you want.
You can get the best pay, you can be in the
Yeah,
environment
and
you
it
always,
just-
but
yeah.
it still won't be.
Music is, again, I don't care how cliche this sounds, it's not what you do, it's who you are. It genuinely is.
Yeah.
Take music out of the equation, I will not be the same person. So,
Wow. So listen, since we're talking about this, and I keep saying we're finalizing on music.
we can.
I need a jingle for my podcast.
A jingle, okay.
Yeah, not necessarily. It might be like 10 seconds and
Right,
everything.
right.
And I've been trying to think of a person who can do this for me. Do you play instruments?
I do. I play the guitar, not very well. I also play drums a little bit, but also not
I don't
very
think we
well.
need drums on the
I
podcast
can
intro,
create a little
but
jingle for you.
it can make people like I want it just soothing the way you do like your acoustic like
Yeah,
guitar
okay.
and just can we do that?
Sure. I'm in.
Sure, promise?
Yeah, promise. Promise. Pinky promise. whatever.
Pinky promise. Pinky promise.
Pinky promise.
Okay.
I will do that for you.
So I'm just guessing, like after this episode, you guys will hear the new
jingle.
The new jingle on the next episode of the Kisscapades Podcast.
Done.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we've talked about music. That's something that you're very passionate about,
Yes.
and that's why I had to start with it, because I
It's
know,
number one.
like you've just said, if that's taken out of the equation,
Delicious.
you can't. That's not you anymore. You
No?
can't be the same.
Can't. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to what you also do on the side, and you do it like proper. Like if you guys just. So she does production
Yeah.
and like travel videos, and should I call it like content creation?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
It's content creation,
content creation,
production.
all sorts of production. We do corporate
Yeah.
videos, adverts.
Listen,
Basically
guys.
anything creative.
Guys, if you
through
see her
video.
travel videos,
Thank you so much.
if you see her travel, and that's why it's so important for me to bring people like you in this platform, because I know at times when you go to other segments, people then don't really get to know that you're also doing this.
Exactly.
So
It's
she
true.
does like amazing
Thank you.
production. Like,
I think
oh,
I think being a musician and doing so many YouTube videos, like
Yeah.
more than 40 YouTube videos.
Mhm.
A lot of those you don't have a budget, so you have to produce them yourself. You have to create them yourself.
now it comes down to creativity.
It comes down to creativity, and then I decided, people used to ask me, "Hey, will you shoot a video for me?" And I was like, "I don't shoot,"
Mhm.
and then I was like, "But I do produce, and I do edit, and
Yeah.
yeah. And so I thought, wow, why don't I? Why don't I just give this a go?
You edit with Final Cut?
I edit with Final Cut. Yeah, and I love editing. I love editing, and I'm obviously like constantly learning. But
Yeah.
you're a great editor. You need to give me a couple of tips.
No,
for
listen.
sure.
Let's work. Let's just work. That's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
That's how we, like you. I think we can easily like exchange ideas.
Exactly.
But the moment we start saying like, "Can you give me tips on this?" We'll keep saying that till December.
Till
But if we
December.
work on a
Get
project
on a
together,
project and see. Exactly.
we're all doing it. And then there are all these different ways of now you can share like project files. I can edit
Right,
something,
send
put
it
it
to
online.
me.
You do
Exactly,
like a bit of
exactly.
tweaking. Why don't we do that?
Done. That's a done deal.
Hey.
That's another
Okay.
promise. Okay, perfect.
So she does amazing production for people who haven't, like even I noticed like from your, are they travel or touristy videos?
So how it all started?
Yeah, how did that start?
So there's a massive love of travel for me, and I always like to think life is so short, as we have seen recently, with the Ethiopian Airlines
Yeah.
plane, and then a plane flies overhead at the same time. That's really strange. But also the Jisd attacks. You realize that life really is fleeting, and I realized that I think we put so much pressure on ourselves in so many aspects of our life, when we really should just be putting no pressure on ourselves and just be happy. Find things that make you happy. Your family makes you happy. Whatever your passion is that makes you happy. And so I decided that I love to travel. I love to sing. I love to create things, to be expressive.
Yeah.
How is there a way that I can put all of those things together? And yes, it's probably not going to be the most amount of wealth that I'm going to receive, but I'm going to be happy every day.
You'll be happy.
And so I used to, I would go out and travel to places and then create beautiful videos for the hotels. Very experiential videos, not your run-of-the-mill corporate videos.
Yo.
Things that give people a sense of feel rather than just, seeing the place. What is the feeling when you go to Samburu Elephant Bedroom? What is the feeling when you're at Maragenche? What is the feeling when you are on the beach at Afro Chic or the Maji?
Yeah.
And so, those experiential videos were just is basically just raw. You go stay there and shoot a whole bunch of pretty things. And then different hotels started really, really enjoying and liking those videos. So then I started getting, more and more work.
Those phone calls.
Exactly.
So it is actually possible for Kenyans to actually get those phone calls and make travel videos.
Big time. Big time. I mean, tourism is a huge commodity here in Kenya. So we have to tap into the market,
People in other countries save for like 2 or 3 years to actually just come and visit Kenya.
Exactly.
Yet we're next to all these places and we don't
We don't go. We don't venture. We don't find the treasures and then share it with the world. Not even just with tourists, but with ourselves.
Yeah.
There's so many places like Mount Suswa, for example. It's not the
I
easiest
don't know
to
what that
get
is.
to. camping at Mount Siswa, if you haven't done it, you must do it. It's fantastic. These are experiences that I think, once you find, you should be able to share. And I think production companies like Roots do this amazingly. They literally take every route and find these beautiful places and then share them. And I think that there's something to be said about this industry. So yes, I mean, travel production, that's what we started with, and then we started doing adverts for different corporate companies who wanted things, and it's now become like a fully fledged production company, which is so exciting.
That's the thing. Once you start doing something like for fun, and especially when it comes to just like creating in general, and then somebody actually comes to you and tells you like, yo, can we pay you to actually do this for us? We want something like
this,
close
something
to this,
authentic, genuine.
Yeah, just genuine.
Yes,
you having fun and just, I mean, when you're doing that, it doesn't feel like work.
No,
at
not
some
at all.
point,
It's just
you start, even when they're paying you, like, I'm actually getting paid to do this.
imagine.
And
Exactly.
there's nothing more satisfying to an artist more than that. I mean, I think that's the best feeling ever.
And to be able to be creative every day.
Yeah,
So even
exactly.
though you are writing 15 storyboards, out of which only 4 of those companies are going to give you the go-ahead and have the budget to go ahead with this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of time and effort that you're putting in with these ideas and storyboards and all the rest of it. But it's not time that is badly spent.
Yeah.
You are being creative. You are using your mind. You are getting more and more ideas together. So. Yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest industry.
Yeah.
This is part of the entertainment industry. People just don't have plenty of budget for this.
Yeah, they have budget, but they're always like, it's not that serious.
But
We can do without.
Is that serious?
But the thing right now is like, it's gotten to a point where like they don't have a choice. They're like, oh my God, I wish we started working with these people earlier, because now everything makes sense. Everybody needs content right now.
The kind of content as well, we're getting more and more, what's the word? We don't focus so much as a society, reading things, blogs, magazine articles, newspaper articles. We do that less. We want to share
visuals,
and not even 1, 2, 3 minute visuals, even 30-second visuals, 15-second visuals,
even 10-second.
But they have to be so clever, and they have to be so, they're so important. It's also important for your SEO, for your search engine optimization.
Yeah.
You want to create a footprint. So if you're not doing that now, you're going to be left behind the game.
You'll be wiped out. You either join or just...
Content is something that's incredibly important. And I love that this world is transitioning to this place, because it's forcing kids and everybody to just be creative, find different ways to express certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything. If you like cooking, if you love doing this, all you need to do is take your phone out, hit record, and share it. And
I think a lot of people, though, think, this whole sharing and pushing a button and having your entire life online is difficult. And I also, I think when I have babies, I'm like, I really don't want them to be on their phone and their iPad. I want them to go camping and climb trees. But the realization of this world is, if we're going to take my kids away from that, they're going to be so far behind this new generation and this new life. And we have to be able to embrace it.
Well, just embrace it. Like, you don't even want to imagine what your kids will be doing. If like you're always constantly like on your Instagram,
phone,
you're always on your WhatsApp doing A, B, C, and D, you don't want to imagine what your kids will be doing. So when it comes to production, would you say, because we've just mentioned bits of it, have you had like any difficulties with like companies that are approaching you? They're like,
so many difficulties.
haven't even finished the question, but you can just feel like you already know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because I'll tell you what, like I remember I saw, like the first time I think I saw one of your videos, even before we met.
Right.
But I was like, there's no way this is a Kenyan video. It can't be. It's not possible. I'm sure they hired like some people, like it was some tourists who came to the country and shot this. And, maybe they got Alisha Popat because she's Kenyan and, threw her in there to increase the views and stuff. But there is no way possible until I found out that it's actually you.
It's me.
Who was behind the production. And just throwing yourself as like part of the character and everything. So I really respect and admire that.
Thank you.
Because the first thing that came to my head is like, it can't be Kenyan.
Oh, I love
can't
that.
be.
I love that you.
So so I'm just trying to imagine if like a company comes to you and they tell you like we'd want this kind of production, we'd want you to fly to this place and shoot for like
create
3 or 4
this.
days.
Yeah.
But
Well, I tell you what the difficulties are.
yeah.
Firstly, as you know, because you do production, the process is, there's a process to follow.
Yeah.
And now for us having to explain to a corporate that first you need to create the flow and the content before you color grade or you put anything in After Effects or you do any of that.
Yeah.
First, give us a picture lock. Once that's the case, I can take it into DaVinci, we can take it into, whatever it is that we need to do, color grade it, stabilize it, this, that, and the other. That for me has been such a nightmare because everybody just wants to see a finished product first and then make a whole bunch of changes. And that is just, it's time
That's not how it
consuming and
works.
it's impossible. So having to explain that first and then still, after you explain it, people say, I don't like the quality of this or I don't like the quality of that or there's, the color is not nice here. And that for me, I really have to have found like a way in which to explain it in the best way possible. And this gives me a lot of problems, I won't lie, it really does. The second thing is paying on time or even just paying at all. We are not just artists, this is a job. You don't go to an accountant, get them to do your books and then say, I didn't really like how you did that, so I'm not going to pay you or take another 3 months to pay you.
Yeah.
You don't go for a doctor's appointment and and not pay for the consultation.
And tell the doctor like when I'm feeling much better I'll come pay you when I feel much better.
Exactly.
That's not how
it's
it
not
works.
like that. So
Yeah.
why do people feel that they can do that to production or to artists or to content creators? That doesn't make any sense. We're still doing a very, very, very valuable job, Of course, because it's creative, everybody thinks that everyone has a different idea of what they have in their head. That I
Yeah.
totally understand. So in this industry, it's not easy. What I have in my head may not be what you have in your head, and it might not be what you have in your head. So I know there'll be a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
But there is a mutual respect that I think needs to be hammered in when it comes to things like this. We spend a lot of effort and time.
I see the frustration on your
you
face.
see it, right? You see
Yeah.
it. But look, here's to hoping that those things get more clear and better. And it's, I think, also up to us to try and find a middle ground. So
Yeah.
if a client really can't see where this is going to go, we'll finish the final product. We'll give it to you. We'll
Yeah.
bite the bullet. But these kind of processes are important.
But how do you deal with that? How do you deal with like a client? Because I recently had this thing with this client.
Yeah.
Because like I made my rate card and after just a few frustrations here and there, and my rate card is like you book me with this, and before I even start production, you pay me the
Deposit.
other half, right? No, not deposit.
Oh,
the other final half.
right,
Yes,
okay. No
yes.
one ever does that with me.
Yeah. No, but I'll tell you why. I had to do that because my situation is a little bit different when it comes
Right.
to production. I work alone.
Okay, yeah.
I work alone. So like when you're calling me in, not unless I just maybe bring somebody to carry like
Right.
my extra gear and stuff, like I'll write the script, I'll shoot,
Edit,
edit, color grade, direct, do all
Yeah.
those things and stuff. So when I present the final video and you tell me like, do you think we can shoot again? Or listen, no, or listen, no. hold on. Or like, I just don't like it. So I'll ask you, like, just I'll put myself like, okay.
What don't you like?
Like, yeah, like just tell me what do you want
Yeah.
then?
What can I change? How can I?
So the client will go like, let's say, I don't know what I want, but I don't like it. So where does that leave
where
you?
does it leave me?
Where does that leave me? Because like you don't like, even if when it comes to brainstorming, you're like, no, you just do your thing.
Right.
And then when the final product is done and everything,
I mean, even if you get things signed off,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
They can literally turn around and say, yeah, I know I signed off on that, but I don't like it. And
yeah,
it's honestly, I've really had that recently so much, and I just feel
Yeah.
like I am ready to give you everything that you want.
Yeah.
I want your company to succeed. My job is to make sure that we create something of value.
Yeah.
I will never take a shortcut. I will never take the easy way out. I will produce this for you. But tell me what it is that you want.
Plus,
Give me enough
yeah.
feedback for me to be able to make this better for you.
Let's be on the same page.
And we'll do it. But do not, ask for like a hand and take an arm or the entire body.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't take
So
advantage.
you've come across that, I'm sure, lots of times, right?
Many.
And even for me at times, it's like, but we paid you, and then I'm like, here's the thing. It doesn't mean like just because you paid me.
I have to do.
Like you have to. I think there's some people who actually like just were paying me so that they can tell me my work is not good enough. And I was like, what? It's not even about the pay. And there are even some instances where I've had to refund, but right now I don't do that anymore because I have like paperwork and stuff. But there's a situation where it happened and I actually just refunded the cash because I was like, I just need to maintain my sanity. I don't want to go crazy. I don't need you to call me at 3 at night to tell me A, B, C, and D, and still even after I still finish doing that, it still doesn't satisfy you.
What happens if a client decides just not to pay you?
I've had those ones as well, and unfortunately I've just had to let go at times. No, listen, I know at times I have, and that's why I had to come up with this new rate card policy where you book me with half,
Right.
and then before I start production you give me
pay
the other
the
half. Because I had to come to that because so many people played me in so many different ways, and even just I know getting a lawyer and doing all these things, it's
Costs
just
money.
two eggs. It costs money and time.
You can't socially shame anyone.
Yeah. And you
Although
also
I
don't
want to sometimes.
you don't want to because I think people can push you to that point.
Oh,
But I
yes.
don't want to get to that, so I'm always telling
Exactly.
the rate card says this way.
And that's how it has
Because
to
I'm just trying to avoid all these other things, and as much as I love and respect you as a client, we have to
be. We
create
have to
this.
follow it this way. So
Yeah.
I think I need to do that. I think I'm a little too
You-
I'm a
you-
little too nice and a little too too giving.
Yeah.
And I think that I need to have that as well.
I've
Because
seen your production, Alisha. If you guys go to her Instagram right now, you see what she was shooting yesterday. You guys were using a red.
we were shooting a very cool video for a casino.
Listen,
It was
if
very
I
cool.
shoot with a red and you tell me that you're not paying me,
Exactly.
I'd go
What do you want me
mad.
to do?
I'd go mad.
Yeah.
So you see, you don't want those. And like I say, all an artist has or a creative is their mind.
Thoughts.
Their mind.
Yeah.
Their mind. It's so important for your mind to be clear-headed because you might even take your frustrations to the next client who's calling you and you have all these restrictions and stuff.
Exactly.
And you have to realize this is a whole new person. You don't have to treat them
The same.
badly because the previous client was like this.
Exactly.
So you're carrying frustrations from one client to another. You don't need to do
Yeah.
that.
Basically, I think we need to grow some cojones. That's what I think.
Yeah, just change the way
Yeah.
your payment and stuff works because your
Absolutely.
stuff is insane.
Thank you. I
Your
really
production,
appreciate that.
your
I really
production,
appreciate that. Thank you.
production is insane. So when it comes to content creation, let me just go with just a few more questions
Sure.
on production because now we've changed from commercials that used to go on TV, and now it's summarizing highlights of something 10, 15, 30 seconds. That's changed from the old school ways
Of,
that people
of creating content.
yeah. Have you had problems just finding clients who would pay and also just appreciate just your niche of work?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Up until recently, I think a lot of clients would not understand that whole sort of genuine 15, 20 second raw content creation. But Masai Markets is partnering with Glovo, this really cool new app, and I love this app. I just love it.
I've seen that. We have to talk about that.
I love this
Yeah.
app, and Glovo, for example. I was like, look, if Masai Markets are going to partner with you, if we benefit, you benefit. And I see the kind of content that they put out, and it's so clever. It really is just people using the app, engaging with the app, and just 15, 20 seconds on Snapchat or on Instagram or on Facebook.
Posting.
Really, really nice content ideas, fun content ideas, and putting them out. And although I know this takes a long time, it's not just, it's not going to happen tomorrow. You're not going to get, 1,000 downloads on your app. But the awareness of what you actually do, the real life engagement of what you actually have with Glovo, that's what matters. And they've picked up on that, and I think that's amazing. So for other corporates, if I mention that, how about you get a couple of food vloggers or people to, create very clever content around your brand, they'll be like, what do we get out of it? How does it translate into sales? It doesn't have to translate into sales yet. It's a long-term thing.
It's not even about sales anymore. Any smart person will know it's about brand visibility right now. It's not like, if I shoot this for you and post it, you're gonna get like all these clients. No,
Exactly.
Now it's all about visibility. Who's seeing your brand?
What is your brand? What is the message you're telling the world, and what is your footprint?
Yeah.
When somebody hashtags whatever the company or the client is, that should come up. Things should come up. And obviously, remember, like, testimonials and word of mouth work really, really well in Kenya. So thus testimonials from people that you trust, that goes a really, really long way. Especially in Kenya. So
I mean, it's tricky, but we're heading there because like even right now, most brands and companies don't have a choice.
Right.
You have to engage with this. We have to engage because we're the ones who are grounded. We know what will resonate to different kinds of people, audience. Because now, even like for agencies, as much as they're there, they're not grounded.
They're not on the ground.
They're not on the ground. They don't know what's happening.
Because
like a client would come, like they have millions and millions of shillings in budget, but they do this advert, they do billboards and stuff, but nobody's looking at billboards anymore.
No.
Yeah, nobody's connecting to any of those anymore.
And the amount that you're spending on one billboard, spend on some clever content creation.
The impact is
huge.
Yeah. Makes a big difference.
Big time.
Yeah, so I mean, content creation is definitely picking up in Kenya. They don't have a choice anyway.
Exactly.
You either like just join us or like you'll just be left.
Behind.
Yeah, you'll just be left behind. So we've talked about production, content creation, which is also like a major thing that you're doing, and that's how you also like make like a lot of money, I guess.
I wouldn't say a lot of money. Not even
no. I mean, okay. So when I'm saying like but you can make money from it.
You can make. Yes, you can. And if you do it properly. And people see the benefits from it, then absolutely. Absolutely.
My how I think about it is like at times you don't even need like 10, 12, 15 clients. The most clients you just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients.
5 clients. Handle them perfectly.
Who understand you, respect your work and everything, and you're good.
And also, I would say, take on clients that make sense to you, that you actually want to buy into. Clients that you believe in, that you're passionate in. There's so many content creators, so choose the ones that fit you best.
Clients who have good food, good drinks.
Exactly. On cafe. Plug in.
So I mean, I understand that portion as well. And let's just move to like now your new business venture. Right. Because or not unless you have any other business going on, and I haven't, and I missed it from my research.
No.
Yeah.
No, those are the only 2 other things I'm doing.
Okay, and when it comes to travel, because I also noticed you were doing like a lot of travel like over the past years. I don't know if that was like a travel for pay, or you're just doing it for fun to try and discover yourself and everything. How was that?
I think it was a bit of both. I mean, travel again is a really big part of my life, so I like to do it as much as humanly possible.
You've been everywhere though.
I really have traveled to a lot of places. I've been very lucky. I will not lie. And the good thing about being able to travel is the process and how you make enough money to put in the bank to be able to travel. It's like that piggy bank that you have when you're really little.
I need to learn how to do that.
Oh man, it's so much fun. It's like hustling hard just to get those extra jobs, just to put money in the bank, just to be able to go to some beautiful part of the world that you've never been and you've always wanted to.
even I'm sorry to cut you off, and
Yeah.
people keep saying this on my podcast, but the only problem is if I don't interrupt, I forget what I want to ask, and then
yeah.
I'll be like, damn. So if you go to Alisha Popat's like Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes to things like travel. I've seen you going to all these like anything that I can. You'll see her like riding horses on the desert, skydiving, scuba diving. I mean, what else? I mean, the list is endless. Were you at the burning? What is it called? The burning.
Africa Burn. I was. It's the best experience.
See all these things
The
she's
best
talking
experience.
about. So if you go to her Instagram, you'll see all these like really interesting things like you can combine with your lifestyle. They're fun. It can be work. But I'm just guessing with all these experiences, it just leaves your chain of thought
Open.
in a very open and different way.
Yes.
Even when it comes to creativity,
Travel is knowledge.
It
You're
is, right?
seeing different places. You're inspired by different foods. You're inspired by different people, cultures, communities. You're constantly learning. You're constantly challenging yourself.
Yeah.
Because travel is not easy all the time.
It's
And
not.
getting into a plane and deciding to jump out of it is not something that comes
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
you have to break past that barrier of fear and say, I want to experience this. I want to open my mind to anything. I want to try and experience everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a way, like you said, to discover myself and to push my own boundaries, to see what it is, where my mind can go.
Yeah.
You know, the extent of what I can do and what I can believe.
Yeah.
And I mean, will always be a very, very big part of my life.
What would you say is like what would you say like you've really gained from traveling? What's like the one thing you'd say like, you know, if you travel, like your mind changes in this and this way, or if you travel, this is what you gain? Like what can be like the one thing that can like just
Self-awareness.
self-awareness?
Yeah, self-awareness.
What do you mean by that?
You
For the people who might like just say like, what does she mean by
you
self-awareness?
get to understand who you are as a person,
Mhm.
what you like, what you don't like, what your limits are, what your fears are, where your restrictions are in
Yeah.
terms of like, you know, yourself, how
Yeah.
you are socially with people that you don't know, for example.
Oh yeah.
You know, all of these different things. Like, I know that traveling alone for some people is the scariest thing in the world.
Scary.
You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
for me also the first or second time I did it.
Yeah.
But then you realize how actually kind of strong you are, how resilient you are, how
Yeah.
how self-aware you are when you travel. And I think also what travel gives you is an open mind.
I remember when we met, we were having like just this long discussion. I was like, yeah, if I had like a podcast set up, this would have been nice content and everything. So I remember, what were you talking about? Because one thing that I've noticed about you is like Alisha can blend in like everywhere. You know, she's not just
chameleon.
like, you know, like just
Like me.
a pretty face that will seclude herself from other people. No, you'd see Alisha blending in with different kinds of people, demography, in music,
Ages.
production, ages and
Yeah.
everything. And it's really hard for a lot of people to do. It's hard for people to do that. A lot of people are always like, you know, if
Staying in your small little space, in your
and even
comfort
circle,
zone.
like just my friends, if I go somewhere, I'm just talking to these kind of people. You'll meet Alisha like so many different places that you'd even be confused, like,
How is she here? Why is she
wow,
there?
why is she here? Are you okay? I'd even see you with some
Yeah.
people and I'd be like, are you sure you're good?
Yeah.
They're not holding you against your will.
Exactly.
No,
You're
but
like,
I'm
"Nope,
just saying like
I'm
that's
just-
yeah,
yeah.
like that's just very different. But how are you able to maneuver like that?
Again, this is breaking barriers and fears.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm, you know, a social butterfly, yes, but it's not easy. I also get super nervous in social situations.
Really?
With certain people. Yes, absolutely.
You're lying.
I swear, I really do. I
Okay.
really have to push myself to do
Yeah.
things sometimes. I really do.
You'd be like,
Exactly.
Let me
And
just try
sometimes
this.
I really get kind of nervous around, especially around very, very successful people. I know
yeah.
that sounds weird, but
Yeah.
I do, because, you know, I really want to. I want to learn so much, but I also feel like, wow, these guys have made it, and you know, am I really? How did I say this without sounding strange? I don't
Yeah.
mind if I sound strange.
Yeah.
Am I worthy of this?
You get like a bit of self-doubt, a
Yes.
bit. Am I
Yeah. absolutely.
I love being around successful people, and I'll tell you why I don't get nervous, because I think I'm a chameleon of absorbing energy.
Right.
And if I hang around like just people who have something going on and all the time and everything, that's why even at times I try and explain to people, like, when you're having like conversations that are not constructive at times, I might just tell people like, listen, the only problem that I have is like, even just the podcast and all the production and everything, like I get to meet so many people who like have so much going on, and they're so positive in what they're doing and everything.
And that's exciting.
It's very exciting.
It inspires you.
It inspires me in so many different ways. So if find myself in a circle where like people have lost hope and everything, I'm always like,
it drains the energy.
It drains me, and I can't even stay around those people.
That's
and at
true.
times it feels like I'm secluding myself from them, but I mean, I can't do it.
Yeah, so I think where I'm going with this is, there are a lot of people that have like especially if you're out in the open, on social platforms and the airwaves. Yeah. People have different ways in which they think of you, right?
Of course.
I think that's where my problem is that I think a lot of people, especially people I grew up with, first of all, don't understand me as a musician. I don't think. I think, I'm being so candid here on this podcast. I don't think I've ever actually mentioned this before, but I'm going to. But
exclusive.
But I think that people, because I'm more of a cover artist, they don't actually see me as a proper singer-songwriter musician. And I think that is such an insecurity for me, that I also believe that when people meet me, they're like, she does covers, she's or they'll be like, oh, that's the girl who always takes selfies of herself. I'm like, I hardly take selfies, ever. I create completely different content. But even if I do take selfies, what is it to you? What is it to you? And I feel like a lot of people have a lot of judgment. And instead of me just being able to be like, I don't care what people think, it's been a real transition for me to start thinking that way. But in social situations, I'm always thinking, what do these guys think about me? What do they think about my music? What do they think about this?
It's so funny, because when somebody looks at you, they wouldn't see you, like exude so much confidence, and somebody can't see that.
It's true. I get told that a lot, but I am a human after all.
Yeah, we're all human, so it still gets to you at some point.
It still gets to me, for sure.
Wow. And I remember even from like just previous conversations, I told you that I don't know whether that made you change a bit, because you're not doing like the whole Instagram thing a lot, and then I told you, like, if you start talking more on your Instagram, if you post more videos, I think people like connect to you in a very different way. And recently I've just been seeing like your Instagram is so much like if I need to know about
engaging.
About like just what's going on, if it's production, if it's traveling, but like at least even if I haven't seen you for like a month, when I meet you, I can pick up a conversation from like, I saw like, you've been doing this and this. So I think that's just like a step up.
I've been trying to up my Insta game.
Listen,
I have.
And what the next thing is?
What's the next thing?
It's just vlogging.
I know, I need to.
You need to, because the same thing that you're doing on your Insta stories right now, if you do it like on I promise you, Alisha, I promise you.
You think it'll work?
You'll just connect to a whole different audience.
Right.
And then now, because like even just for my podcast, what I realized is like somebody can send you one message, and even though I was like, where's this podcast going?
Yeah.
They'd send you that one message, and then you'd be like, wow.
People are listening.
Yeah,
people are
listening, and they'd even send you like timestamps and everything. It just makes a very big impact on people. And even just the way you share, like, your Insta, it's the same thing, because you're already doing it on Insta stories anyway.
I might as well just put
you love editing.
Start doing it.
You do production. You get paid by other people to do that.
Right.
Why can't you do that for like yourself?
So actually, it's interesting that you came up with this, because my cousin and I are actually putting a pitch together for a very cool travel series. Yeah, we're really excited.
Oh, listen.
So
do it.
So the idea, I hope nobody steals it, but if you do, ours will be better.
But here's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. If you create your stuff, like even somebody, and Kenyans, they love stealing ideas.
Right.
But as long as it's in your head, like for me, how I normally, it won't be the same thing. Yeah.
So basically, it's me and my cousin. My cousin Talisa is an Olympic swimmer for Kenya. She is.
I think I've seen.
I think she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. She's now cannot speak, doing photography, and an amazing photographer at that. And she's an adrenaline junkie.
Can I have her on my podcast?
Oh, I wish she would love to be.
Yeah.
She would love to be. And
Hold you accountable if she doesn't come.
No, she will.
Okay.
So, and she's an amazing photographer and an adrenaline junkie. And we thought, the two of us doing a travel show together. So she's pushing my limits to go do all these things that I wouldn't ordinarily do.
That's a good friend. That's a keeper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm pushing her to do, the cultural side of things.
Yeah.
So we have like a bucket list travel show where you go to different places and you just push those boundaries. And it's her, this very, very free, vibrant, wild child.
Yeah.
And me just trying to rein her in and be like, come on, let's have some delicious Pinot Grigio wine, different Pinotage from South Africa. And she's just like, give me that box wine.
Please do it. Please do it.
So we're working on it.
Please do it.
We're working on it.
Because those are the things that I think and you also have to realize the thing with when it comes to even such social interactions and stuff, when you're posting that, other people get to live through your experiences.
That's exactly it. And not even just live through it.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Somebody would see you doing something and then they'd be like,
oh, that is actually, it's doable.
They'd
Go do it.
call you, ask you, or even just send you a message. How much does it cost to do ABC? How much does it cost
Where can you go and do this? How do you go and do that? We want to answer all those questions in a beautiful, travel show.
Do it, Alisha.
Do you know that you can swim with whales in Diani? I mean, whale season just finished. But
whales or dolphins?
Whales.
In Diani?
In Diani.
Now you see that I didn't know.
So we're going to go swim with whales, and then we're going to put it online, and then all the details. And
people save so much money to come to Kenya and just enjoy all these little things that we don't even know about.
Exactly.
And even from just the podcast, there's so many people that I've talked to about travel and stuff, and it's really changed my mind. I've stopped spending money on things that are not, they just don't bring no value to me.
You're like, let me just take a weekend away somewhere.
That's what I want to start doing.
45 to 1 hour away from Nairobi in any direction, and you will find the most beautiful spots. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what you can find out here. It's crazy.
Alisha, you have no idea. Okay, we've talked about travel. Let's move on to the next topic, which is now your beautiful new venture,
yes.
Masai Markets.
Masai Markets.
Your new venture.
Yes, an e-commerce venture. So how that started is after...
In fact, even before you say how it started, what is Masai Markets? The people who will hear Masai Market, they'll say we know Masai Market.
So we all know Masai Markets, right? We all know the open air platforms that are so ingrained in our culture and we have a lot of pride with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no one somehow, and I don't know why this is, try to create an e-commerce platform where people can buy these products either locally online and for it to be delivered straight to your home, or for it to be delivered anywhere around the world.
Or if you're a tourist visiting Kenya and you're just in your hotel, you can also
order from your catalogs that are sitting in your hotel room. And so, we decided basically, these products are so beautiful. The artisans who create it really, really need to scale their businesses. A lot of them have been displaced because, especially with the Triangle Market that basically just got demolished, it left them they were not placed anywhere else. They were not given another location.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys are sitting in Embakasi with maybe 1 or 2 people that come a week.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to make any sort of revenue?
Mm-hmm.
So from that, we thought the only way that we know that we can help them is to create something online. Do you know what I mean? Create a buzz so that they're making a good amount of money. People can order globally. They can order even locally. And you can basically get your perfect little olive wooden salad bowl, or your batiks or your kikois, straight to your doorstep within 12 hours, or within 48 hours we can ship it to Australia.
How comes nobody thought about this,
I think
Alisha?
maybe people did and they tried it. And you know how much work it was? I don't even know how to tell you.
I can only imagine.
I never knew what hard work was until I started this venture. You know, you have to first of all, you have to go to all of the suppliers, find the right suppliers, find the best quality, because quality is everything.
Yeah.
And reliability, because you can't just run out of stock, especially if you are basically having catalogs sitting in hotel rooms.
Yeah, and somebody's picking something online and then you're like, okay, we're sorry, this is not in stock.
So reliability and quality is so important, and we wanted to pick the best of the products from the Masai market. So we basically spent 4 months going to every Masai market and meeting people, doing our research until we basically, picked the products that we wanted. And then from there, you have to photograph all the products, okay? Product photography is not easy. And then you have to Photoshop them all out to make them PNG files. And then you have to upload them. We did our own website, masaimarkets.com. And then you have to measure everything, weigh everything, put a description for everything, create your PesaPal and your payment
all these
methods.
payment plan. Oh yeah.
All of that.
Visa.
Exactly. And then you have to start marketing it.
Yep.
So now, marketing it means having all your social media pages active,
Yeah.
and also doing Facebook target marketing, which, by the way, is like another beast altogether. I mean, it really takes...
All these platforms just require different strategies, and it also they all have different kinds of audiences.
Exactly. So now, we were just pushing the site. And in the beginning, we were getting about 300 sessions a day. But that's because we were sitting behind computers and just pushing it and marketing, and it takes a lot of time. Then we realized that this really is very much of a niche. It's for people who don't have the time to go to an open air market, or don't want the hustle or bustle, and who don't maybe want to negotiate prices.
Yeah,
and there are not many
back and forth.
And there are not many locals who mind going. They like going.
Yeah.
So our audience wasn't local. We realized our audience are tourists. But then again, what tourists are going to come into Kenya and go onto a website? I mean, have you ever gone to Thailand and gone to a Thai website and bought anything off it?
They want to be on the ground, I guess.
Exactly. And also, it just doesn't make sense. So we thought, how do we scale this business and make it more lucrative and kind of just change the strategy? And then we decided, imagine if we create a beautiful catalog, like a beautiful magazine that has all of this information about places to go on the coast and the Maasai culture, and then have all of these products that are available to buy, put them in hotel rooms, to have a negotiation with the hotels for a revenue split. And tourists who stay in those hotels, they have that beautiful magazine in front of them. They basically open the page, they pick the products, they call the reception, they tell the reception what products they want. The reception tells us, we deliver it straight to their doorstep, to the hotel, and 12 hours later, they get their beautiful Maasai market products, and they get it packaged however they want. The hotel basically have the added value of being able to have a service like this.
Yeah.
The hotel is also helping sustain or scale the lives and the work of the local artisans.
Of the locals.
Exactly. So everybody is happy.
Everybody's eating.
Everyone's happy. Exactly. So we just started that, and it's so exciting.
You see, now I understand what it is and how it works. Because at first I thought it's like just you guys making your own jewelry,
right?
Or maybe like similar jewelry in what's in the Maasai market.
Right.
But now it's like this chain of feeding the artists.
Exactly. And it's not just jewelry. That's another business that my mom and I have called Lakira Jewelry. This is basically all.
There's another whole.
Yeah, there's a whole name.
Oh wow.
This Maasai Markets is all the beautiful things you find at the Maasai Markets that you love. The things that everyone goes and buys. The beautiful wooden spoons, the salad bowls, the kikois, the clutch bags, the kitenge stuff, the beautiful key rings that we all have. All of these things that are part of our culture, we can share globally.
And just like for the most important thing is like the catalog that you're talking about.
Yes.
So you've already partnered with different hotels and stuff?
Yes, yeah. We partnered with...
Do you want to mention them?
Kingfisher, Kempinski. We're in talks with Landmark, and we're in talks with Movenpick. And so we have, it's
I'm
really
so
exciting.
proud of you. This is really And you see, that's the thing about anybody, like right now, it's even just really hard to come up with fresh ideas. And that's something that's completely different.
Completely different. And we were like, is this going to work?
But it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And just for you to take that leap of faith to like, okay, this is what we're pursuing.
Man.
4 months, product, photography, partnering with hotels,
we
being
didn't
on the
do
ground.
anything else for 6 months. So it really impacted me financially, not being able to concentrate on all the other things I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, that
Because-
are actually supposed to.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
I think maybe rather 7-8 months, because all we were doing was working on this. I mean, every day pitching and going to see people and handling the social media to get people on the site, delivering. I mean, we've now delivered to Australia, we've delivered to Germany, we've delivered to Italy, to the US, to South Africa. I mean, we've had a lot of, it's to Scotland today. We just got a delivery from Scotland, so it's really exciting stuff.
Oh, this is good. I mean, like, I don't even know, like, what to say, because it's so, the idea is so fresh, and how, like, it connects all the people together. That's just how the digital platform should be utilized.
Exactly.
And it just makes sense the way you're saying, like, you know, artisans were taken from like their situation. So how are they supposed to supply all these things that they have?
100%. And now, you know, instead of having to sit in Embakasi all the time, they're making great monthly revenue.
You get an
and they're also getting a platform online where people can see their faces. They even know, even if you don't buy from our site,
yeah.
it tells you exactly who they are, where you can find them.
Wow.
Giving them an option as well, locally people an option to just go, and if you want to go get straight from them,
Yeah.
please
You can actually,
Go-
by all means.
go right ahead.
At times, tourists normally have, like, maybe you're coming from Mombasa, you're having this crazy flight, and, you know, like,
You don't have
maybe
the time.
you don't have the time. First of all, you're tired and everything. Plus, maybe your flight is on the next day. So you can just go to the catalog, pick what you want, place your order. By the time you come back to the hotel, you're flying back to Nairobi, get your stuff is ready, and
Exactly.
everybody wins.
Exactly. And
Uh-huh.
even more so now, taking it a step further,
Yeah,
which is super exciting,
yeah.
is we're in the process of chatting to Glovo, the app.
That's what about. I was just about to
gonna
ask
ask?
that. Yeah, I was about to ask that. So what's Glovo? Let's start with that.
So Glovo is a really, really cool, it's a worldwide app, especially in Europe. It's already functioning incredibly well all over Europe. Very, very well-known app. And they're basically just starting in Africa. And it's a delivery app, but an all-purpose delivery app. So not just, for example, for food, or one specifically for courier service, or specifically for gifts. It will handle all your deliveries from A to Z. So your interface is, you have, for example, your snacks and juices. You have food, you have groceries, you have gifts, you have a courier service. So say I have some paperwork that I really, really desperately need to get to somebody very quickly. I'll just go into the app, engage, tell the driver where to come pick up the paperwork and where to drop it, and that will be done. Say I haven't had time to go and get my groceries, I will basically put my groceries, either pick from Naivas or whatever other partners they have. If they don't have it at Naivas, you just click the anything button and say, I really, really need some coconut milk and coriander.
That's
Within
what I need.
45 minutes,
Yeah.
that will be delivered to you. The drivers have a float, so they will pay for your delivery. And
Oh.
then you only have to pay for the delivery in cash or M-Pesa once they come to you.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fantastic innovation. You don't
Convenient.
have to just, so
Convenient. Yeah.
And then the part that we're so excited about is there's a gift section. So you can just press the gift section, and there are different shops that come up, and you can basically click on Masar Market soon and go through all of our range, pictures and everything are there. Pick what you want, and under 45 minutes, you will get your beautiful Masar Market products delivered to your doorstep for anything from 50 bob delivery to maybe 200, I think, or maybe even less than that. So it really is the kind of app that you really should engage with, because I can promise you, not just for Masar Markets,
Yeah.
this is innovation. This is something
I'm
unique.
lost for words. So listen, when it comes to just the name itself, Masai Markets, would you say like now you've how Kenya works? Have you done a copyright thing and everything?
So we did try.
You did
because
try.
we did try
Yeah.
because we wanted to make sure that we're not stepping on anybody's toes.
That's
kind of-
where I'm going with this. Yeah, yeah.
So, it isn't trademarked.
Mm-hmm.
It's available to use in terms of not.
You concerned
not
about that?
commercially. Of course, I want to make sure that we do everything.
Did you see like the whole thing? Before we go back to this, let
The
me just
Louis
interrupt
Vuitton?
before. No, not the Louis Vuitton.
Was it Louis Vuitton?
The Kenyan national anthem seems to be copywritten
Excuse me.
by another country.
Excuse me.
I swear to God.
How is that even
If
possible?
you-
How's that even possible?
If you use a Kenyan national anthem right now, you'll get a copyright strike. And it's not from any Kenyan company or government. It's from somebody else overseas.
How does that even work? I'm lost for words. I don't even understand that.
Go and Google it. I swear.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. If you just start using the Kenyan national anthem somewhere, you get a copyright strike. And then it will tell you it's from a company somewhere. I think it's in Europe, if I'm not
How?
mistaken. Yeah, listen. That's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm thinking.
When it comes to Maasai markets, how
you
do you
can't
ensure?
trademark because you can't trademark the name because it is a traditional.
Hey, somebody took our national anthem.
I
I'm
know.
guessing.
They
Like
could
even what
take
else?
that.
What did Louis Vuitton do?
Was it Louis Vuitton?
Was it
or
Kikoi?
No,
Wasn't Kikoi
no, it was the
trademarked by-
Shuka.
Yeah.
So one, I can't remember who the big designer was. It's probably not Louis Vuitton. I can't remember Versace. It was Versace.
Wow.
Versace used. They had a whole product range called Shuka or something, and I mean they got into a lot of trouble for that because it's almost exploiting the traditional Maasai
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
Right. And so there is a community. And I can't remember the name of that, but they basically look into brands that are using their name and see if it's being used in the right ways and for the right reasons.
Oh, not just taking advantage of people who are not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So so with that, we managed to check all those boxes to make sure that. I mean, even though we didn't need to, just managed to check
Right,
all
it's
those
just
boxes
to be safe, right?
to be safe. And also, you don't want to step on anybody's toes.
You don't
You
want
want to
to.
make sure that we're doing
Yeah.
everything for the right reasons and in the right way. But I also think, though, that if the domain is there,
Yeah.
Maasai Markets was available.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's now your domain. You don't have to use that as your company name or anything, right?
Hey, listen.
You know
Listen,
what
you
I
do
mean?
it. You have it on Instagram already.
Yeah. So.
Yo, you should
And
do it
if-
on YouTube before this episode
I
comes
know.
out. You do it on.
And if anything comes up where that's where there's a problem with using
Yeah,
that name,
yeah.
we can always change it, or we can always, find a
No,
solution.
there's not. First
We're not
of all,
doing anything in any possible way.
no.
that
Let's
is illegal,
let's
so.
start with this. You're Kenyan, right?
Yes.
So that's all that matters. There
Exactly.
won't be
Not
any story about
exploiting anything.
no exploiting anything.
Yeah.
Plus, you're just taking what's there and
In
like
fact-
even it's
In
just
fact, we're doing the opposite of exploiting.
yeah, exactly.
We're actually trying to give more exposure to the brand and the local artisans.
True. And plus, you're creating revenue for them as well.
Exactly.
So there is no listen, you're just doing the right thing.
But
Let's
it's a
just
really
start
good.
with that.
But it's a really good question because when we first were thinking about it, we're like, "Wow, can we actually use that name? Or
Yeah.
was that the reason why no one's done it before?"
Yeah.
We really, got a lot of legal advice before
Yeah.
because the last thing we want to do is have an issue where you start this amazing company and
Yeah.
then all of these legal entities come up.
Who owns the company? You and your boyfriend?
Myself, me,
Oh, you're the sole owner?
I'm the sole owner.
Wow. Oh.
He works for me. I'm kidding. no. He
No,
has
but
his
I'm
own
just saying.
startup,
But I'm just saying, like,
we
okay,
just do it together.
we also have to just look at it from common Mwananchi's, how let's say you're doing your whole launch and everything, and they see your face on the newspaper. You know how people immediately just come to conclusion and everything.
Exactly.
They'd be like, what?
Exactly.
She
She's not
owns
Kenyan.
yeah. That's the first thing that comes to their mind. Just because of your maybe ethnicity and stuff, before they know your story,
Exactly.
the first thing that comes in their head is
Exactly.
what?
And there were so many people who said, why don't you add a Rainbow Nation, a page to your team? I'm like, for what?
What's
am
a Rainbow
Kenyan.
Nation?
Just to have every ethnicity.
Oh no, but here's the thing.
Why should I do that? I'm Kenyan.
No, listen, you're Kenyan. first of all, let's just start with that. You're Kenyan. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Born and bred. And just because you've had an idea and it's working already, now if you start doing that, it just means you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. Because it's all about validation and trying to, you sort of like, you're not feeling comfortable doing this, and then if I put this face here and here, it's going to make, like,
No,
that's not how it's supposed to be.
I'm a true and genuine person. I'm not going to try hide, anything by putting a couple of faces on there. I don't have anything to prove. I don't have anything to prove.
Aye.
This is our baby. This is our business. We're excited about it.
I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm so proud of you. Anywhere you think you can just, like, you need my help with anything here, phone call away.
Yeah, that's
I'll just
true.
be like on a bike, on a border.
Straight.
I saw you taking like a fast border ride. Like, was it 2 or 3 days ago?
It wasn't my first border ride.
Yeah.
I've taken many borders before, but
Yeah.
this, taking a border
What was special about
from
this?
Westlands to South Sea in 4 p.m. traffic.
Oh yeah, you can't make it. You can't make it if you're using like a car. You'll
you
get
can't use
at
it.
7.
But you can imagine the traffic, and there are people walking everywhere, and cars
Yeah.
and matatus on pavements, and hooting and cops, and then there's me wearing these heels, on a border, and this guy, I've already told him I need a rush, and he just basically says, hold on tight.
Step on it.
And literally weaving through places I didn't even think you could get through, and I would always stop and just peep into people's windows and have like a little moment with them, and then be wondering, what is this girl in heels and full makeup who's going to a TV interview doing on this border, right?
Yeah.
And I'm holding on to this guy for dear life. I mean, I'm literally, my nails are in his back, and he is just
when you're on the
weaving
bike.
through.
When you're on the bike, let me just let you know, because like for guys, for men, like when you're on a border, no matter how.
You don't touch, you don't hold.
We don't hold onto this guy like this. I'm always like just on my chair like this. Like if I'm falling, let me just fall down. There's no I'm grabbing on his waist. So how are you on the bike?
I'm almost sure that this guy felt uncomfortable. I did not care. I was holding on to him like this, like really tight. Really,
so
really
funny.
tight.
That's so funny.
But he just found it so funny. But he was, he was literally a matatu on 2 wheels. He was going off pavements, and there were big holes in the road. He's just ramping off them, and cops are telling him to stop, and he's like, no. Carries on going, and it was a real experience.
And
really.
even when I'm always coming for the podcast, I always come with a bike, because if I call an Uber, it's going to take me
Ages,
15 minutes to get to the house. And then he's going to ask me like, okay, how are we going? Before he sets up his app and everything. But if I take a bike, I'm here in like 7 minutes, because I stay in Langata. So it's super convenient.
Completely for borders. But during traffic, in a situation like that, do not tell the border you're late. Do not. Let him go at his own pace.
Yeah, his work is to make sure you don't get late. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about Masai Market. Is there like anything you'd want to plug, like where people can actually like find all these products and everything?
I mean, www.masaimarkets with a double A, Masai Markets with an S at the end, .com. That is our site. All our information is on there. You can order anything you want. And it would be really nice if, if we could spread the word that we basically have our catalogs in so many different hotels and wish to be partnering with more. So that people have access to these beautiful products, and we can also help scale the businesses of all these local artisans.
I think especially like, in fact, in Mombasa, I mean, you should just partner with like all the hotels.
That's
Watamu,
we're thinking about also
Diani.
having like a wholesale catalog where for all of these lodges and places you can buy everything wholesale.
So
do it,
it's
guys.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So you have a website. Is it masaimarkets.com?
Masai Markets and everything. Instagram. masaimarkets.com with an S at the end,
With an S. Masai
Facebook.
Markets.
Yes.
Masai Markets. So Facebook, Instagram, website. Think of YouTube as well. Just do your thing. You do production. Come on, you do production. So no
we
excuse.
Should be doing it.
No excuse for that. And maybe Snapchat will be pushing it. I guess if you have like Instagram, you're good with it.
We're good with that for sure.
So we've talked about like all these things. That's how like in the category of like the 4 pillars of life, this falls under like wealth, and wealth doesn't necessarily mean like
money,
like extremely super rich Floyd Mayweather rich. No, that's not what we mean. just means like you can be able to make your ends meet.
Exactly.
You're at a happy place.
You're able to
You're able to take care of
pay
your
rent on time.
yeah.
Sometimes.
I'm horrible at that.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe the worst part is like my landlord is always watching like my Insta stories.
Exactly.
No, not Insta stories, WhatsApp stories.
Right.
And at times you might see me someone else like, this guy hasn't paid rent.
Exactly. What
I'm
is he
saying doing
around
this.
here?
So my apologies
true.
for that. Try be on time.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure it all out. So we've talked about the whole business and everything. So let's move on to something that's more personal.
Sure.
More personal. And with that, I think the main subject now is going to be, I think, just let's say love and health.
I love love.
Love and health.
Love
We
love.
can tell like you're at a very happy space right now.
I am.
So
I'm
how-
a very happy space.
You're very
Love.
I think let's
The
just
big
talk.
L.
Yeah, let's just talk about love because even with the current like just climate, it's hard to sustain like relationships because you're out here trying to chase like maybe your dream job.
Right.
No, sorry, not dream job. Like just stabilize like
Right.
your livelihood and everything.
Exactly. There's so many factors
There's
when
so
it
many
comes
factors.
to love nowadays. The world has become a smaller place,
Yeah.
right? But it's also so open that relationships aren't just with the people that are in your immediate
Yeah.
location or
Yeah.
country anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are a lot of things to think about.
And now, since we're talking about love, let's just, we can just highlight on a few things, maybe because, a lot of people are also having like maybe problems with relationships,
Of course, we all
finding
do.
the right
Yeah.
person, or just, being able to cope through thick and thin.
Exactly.
Uh,
And push through.
And push through
Yeah.
because now people, it's like they have like zero tolerance for just something
Well, of course.
small.
Also, look, we have such a small attention span in
Yeah.
regards to content. We have the same attention span when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
We always think there's something greener on the other side.
Mhm.
We always think that if this doesn't match, then nothing will match.
Yeah.
And divorce is so easy. It's not like when our parents were married. Divorce.
Single parents
Exactly,
right now,
they
it's like this
pushed.
normal.
This is normal, exactly. And I think, if one thing goes wrong, the word divorce or the word breaking up comes
Immediately.
too quickly.
Yeah.
And we're all at fault for that. We just don't say, okay, cool, this is a fight, this is
Yeah.
or this has been a really bad patch,
Yeah.
and we're going to try everything we can to build the bridge and get over it.
Okay, now since we're talking about love,
Yes. Ask me the question. Who
how
is he?
no. We already, if somebody goes to Instagram,
They'll know.
they'll know who he is. So it's not even about who is he. Okay, for how long have you been in a relationship?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. And I can obviously say, like, for those 2 years, I've never seen you happier.
It's 100%.
I've never seen you so much happier than like the past 2 years. Like, those ones of like that's just that's how somebody's supposed to be. Like,
Exactly.
you always have a smile on your face. You're always talking. Like, you can just see, like, he's like just that one half that you needed.
That I was looking for.
That you're looking for. And when it comes to like life and everything, you might have like all these other things going on, and if like that's not in existence, that means like you'll always be in constant pursuit of that. Even if you're not, subconsciously you'll still be looking for that,
Exactly.
and depending on how eager you are for it, you can make right decisions or wrong decisions. So how did you know, like, this is somebody that, I can actually get into this kind of commitment with?
So I think it wasn't like, a lot of maybe other relationships I had when it's just very good, very, very soon.
Oh,
You
yeah?
know? No,
Used to be like that?
No, it was very good, very soon, but it wasn't like that overwhelming. We took our time. We got to know each other really, really well.
Mhm.
We gave each other what we needed, patience at times. I wasn't really ready for a long-term relationship because I just got out of one 6 months ago.
You are not ready, so you're just like,
And I
I
was
just
like,
take a break.
I've never been single, I need to just, and also just, process a whole bunch of things, and he was so patient, and we really just spent time getting to know each other before anything. Before I knew it, I was like, oh my goodness gracious me,
Yeah.
I am so in love with this boy.
Yeah.
I cannot fight it for a second longer. And there's just a comfort and a confidence about what we have that is just different to any other relationship I've ever had. It's confidence in what we have and the fact that we will make it work we will fight tooth and nail to make our relationship work. And the type of comfort that he honestly, genuinely is my best friend. We hang out every day. We live together. We work together in some instances. We cook together. Our families are so aligned.
Yeah.
But the comfort level,
Yeah.
you don't need the person, but you cannot live without them. You just cannot. If I have to picture a life without this human in it,
Just don't know how it's gonna be.
I don't know how I would do it. Yeah, and that's how I know. That's the bottom line.
Wow. I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking for that.
You'll find it. I mean,
but it takes patience,
It takes
though.
patience.
Yeah. I mean,
don't settle. Never
yeah.
settle. Not for love. Don't settle for love. Like I said, we have a very, very, very short life. Anything can happen. You want something profound. You want something that you can scream from the rooftops. You want that overwhelming feeling. Do not settle when it comes to love.
Yeah, I'm just going to take that snippet there to give me an excuse to jump up and down and date many different people before I post this.
Before you know.
Before I settle down. But I mean, that's so special, and it's very rare, like in this like millennial era, cause of all these dating apps and stuff. Because I also know like people who are like in relationships, people who are married, or people just cheating way too much, and you also start like wondering like, why did you guys get married in the first place if this is not?
And this whole idea of being polyamorous.
Do this?
I got like ginger on there.
No, it's not ginger.
Is it lipstick?
No, it's not. I don't know
It's
what
like
this is.
like a branch of a palm tree.
Oh
like
yeah,
little
let's go with that theory. So
yeah, but also this idea of like polyamory, being able to to date around and be with a lot of people at the same time.
I don't even think it's healthy. I mean,
it's scary.
It's scary because I think it also like dilutes, like, because at some point you might date like so many people and then even forget what you're actually looking for. Because they're like,
and
okay.
It's the thrill all the time, right?
Yeah.
You get excited about the thrill. And and then when you finally get into a relationship, you miss the thrill.
Yeah.
And the thrill you can find very much in your own relationship in so many ways. I think it's all about keeping things fresh and real.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you. I think like our parents and their generation, marriage was such a big deal. It's not just marrying a person, it's two families coming together. It's creating a foundation for a beautiful big home with your kids.
Yeah.
If the foundation doesn't work, the kids are going to be impacted.
Yeah.
And I think this is where I draw the line. I want the foundation to be so strong.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm going to work on first.
Yeah.
And even when I have
before
my kids,
anything else,
even when I have my kids,
Yeah.
my kids obviously are my priority, but the priority actually should be the foundation. If this breaks, the kids are, no matter how much time and effort you give to your children,
it won't be the same.
it won't be the same.
It won't be the same.
And I know that it's not easy for everybody. I know that people change
It's not. Yeah.
in marriage and relationships, and sometimes you can't just stay just for the sake of your children. You have to be happy too.
Yeah.
But give it a really good go, is what I would say.
Just make an effort.
Yeah.
Especially if you find that one person that is there for you through thick and thin, and because you can always tell.
Exactly.
At times you might go on a date and date someone, and then you're like, this is not going to go anywhere, or not unless you now start being like in denial.
Right.
Like, let me just keep on trying, but at the end of the day, you just know like this is not like a long-term thing.
Yes.
And when it comes to like relationships, how do you like? Because this is also very difficult. Because like in your case, you guys work together. You live together?
We live together.
You live together?
Yeah.
You cook together?
Yes.
You do everything together. How is it possible that you don't get tired of seeing each other? Because I have like a friend of mine who's married. And you know what his advice was?
Yeah.
He was like, yo, please don't get married.
Don't get married. And so a lot of people say
He
that.
was saying like, I'm so tired of seeing the same face
Person
every
all
day in the
time.
morning.
Oh,
And he's always like looking like on my Instagram. He's like, at least you get to interact with all these different beautiful faces all the time. Like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted.
Oh no.
But I think it's just because they chose the wrong person.
And I think also independence is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you grow together, but you have to grow apart to grow together. You have to have
How's
your
that?
own. You have to have your own identity, your own life, your own group
Mm-hmm.
of friends, your own things that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And then similarly, things that you enjoy doing together,
Mm-hmm.
and friends that you have together. But
Yeah.
I think it's super important to have that independence, so that yes, you are working together, living together, seeing each other all the time, but you have your own life away from that. You want to go away for a weekend with your boys, or whatever you want to do, you have to be able to open that up for your relationship, so that you don't feel suffocated. I mean, I can tell you in 2 years, I don't feel that even a little bit. I don't know if that's because I found the right person or because we have a really good dynamic.
It's because the right person.
But I do tell you that I do think that is definitely, codependency is probably the killer of all relationships.
Oh, wow.
If you are codependent with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
then you forget about what it's like to be on your own, or to figure things out on your own.
By codependent, what exactly do you mean? I
That-
don't want it
that-
to be misinterpreted, or people not to understand what we're talking about.
Codependency meaning you are constantly either relying on each other or leaning on each other for all types of support.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot stand on your
Oh,
own
on your own.
happily.
Yeah.
You take that part out and you'll fall.
Oh, yeah.
You
So
know?
at least if you can just
Exactly.
separately, like still.
Codependency meaning you don't go out with your with your friends, with your own group of friends, or have your own identity, your own hobbies. I think that is definitely a very dangerous thing in relationships.
Yeah, and I think that's also very important, and I think that's even like one of like major, like at times what causes like breakups. Maybe you're dating someone and then they're like, I don't like it when you hang around like your friends, so they drag you and force you to be hanging around with just their
Exactly.
friends. Actually, they just choose your friends for you. And now they have to take you away from like the people like who actually knew you like even before
Exactly.
you
That's
they started
exactly
like
it.
seeing you. I think that's what you're talking
That's
about,
exactly
right?
it. That's codependence.
Okay, that's also
So I
very
think that's pretty important in relationships. And then again,
Yeah.
the biggest thing in relationships that I can say is compromise. We are all our own people. We're stubborn. We're bullheaded. We've grown up in a specific way. We
Yeah.
have different
cultures, backgrounds.
cultures, backgrounds, ways in which to do things. Where the sugar is, where all these different things. It's all about compromise. If we can't compromise with each other, then you'll never get anywhere. I mean, there are things that I have to compromise in the relationship, that he has to compromise, and it's not that we have that perfectly down, because we don't.
Yeah.
We still argue about small idiotic things,
Yeah.
like who's going to make tea in the morning.
Wow.
You
Those
know,
are the
like
things that you
simple
guys
things,
fight about. Oof.
No, but you're
but
constantly
yeah.
making tea, and
But I think those are small, cute things that if you look back at and you're like, okay, now this makes our relationship like kind of.
No, exactly. But it's all about the small things, right?
Yeah.
Are you willing to compromise with these things? There's so
make
many.
tea any day. What?
There's so
That's
many
all?
things.
But
No,
I
there's
know,
so
but I
many
know
things.
what you're
Those
saying.
small
Yeah,
things,
the small things. Yeah.
Like my boyfriend opens up cupboards and will never close them. Anything that gets opened.
Well, that sounds just like he does it intentionally. Because if you
Oh
open
my
something,
God.
but at some point it
just
gets
never
to you
closes.
though,
It
right?
just never closes. I'm like, close that cupboard. No, but these are small things. But in terms
Yeah.
of like bigger things, in terms of like, the way you speak to each other, the languages of love that you have. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever read the book or done any research about the 5 languages of love. That's a I would say, very important thing to read in relationships. We all have different languages of love. We like giving love differently and receiving love differently. Once you figure out what your language of love is, what your partner's language of love is, these things are just more, it's just easier. If you know that my language of love is affection, okay, that's what I like to receive.
Provide that.
But you are not great. That's not your language of love. Your language of love is sort of physical gestures, like logical gestures. Like I will
neck
do this
massage
for you.
when you're telling me this.
Yeah, exactly. I will do this for you, or I will file your paperwork for you. I will give you do things for you.
Yeah.
That's your language of love. They don't make any sense. So if I know that I need affection, then you'll be like, all right, cool. I'm going to make a bigger effort to give her affection.
So that's where compromise actually comes in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, love is so difficult to deal with and understand, because everybody you meet, it's just different with them.
Exactly.
So in love, when we're still talking about love a bit, because this is also like super important.
Yes.
What's the difference you can say you've noticed, like, on how when you were single, that's 2 years ago, when you're single, and now that you're in a relationship, what's the contrast from how things are, like how you move around, how you do personal things, and how you just
I just think
in your life in general?
You just have more confidence in what you're doing, because you have that person that will be there to support you all the time. I think that's the major difference. You always have somebody to call and tell about your day, what happened to you, or how your dentist appointment went, and I mean just different things, and I think, but I don't think that I think being single is so much fun,
I know
If
about
you're
that,
in
but it's also like it can be hectic at times.
It can be hectic at times.
It can be hectic.
But I think it's just that feeling of, you can just breathe. You feel loved, and you feel supported, and you feel like you can take on anything in this world, because if all of that fails, you have your human.
Okay, and I think also maybe once you're like, because we're not dropping age or anything in this conversation, but let's just say that once you're like past 26, 27 there, even though there can be like this like kind of like excitement in different dating different kind of people, it starts being a little bit different, because you want genuineness in the person that you're meeting.
Right.
Because I think maybe when you're slightly younger, like you wouldn't care, like it's just for the moment and stuff. But it gets to a point where like you just need a genuine person.
Exactly.
Like next to you. It doesn't matter if it's not gonna work out, but you just want like a genuine person.
Right. And somebody who probably wants the same things as you do.
The same thing as you. So that, because that's where like the understanding and everything would come in.
Exactly.
Is your boyfriend like stationed in Kenya, or is it like at times unfortunately at times it has to be like like you have to be away from each other?
Okay, at times we have to be away from each other. So
Is he Kenyan?
No, he's Austrian. Exactly.
Oh.
So he was working here, and then obviously as a business visa, coming in and out, because he's trying to organize his startup here. So he doesn't. He's in and out, but now he's basically just started up an amazing health venture with a couple of other partners, and in the process of getting his work permit.
In Kenya?
Yeah, and in the process of actually just putting down roots here.
I see another podcast guest already.
So that's really exciting. But
so that's special. But you see, like you still made it work, because I'm guessing he had to fly out and just stay, because we're talking about even for him staying away from his family as well.
You know how hard that is?
It's insane.
Especially after getting to a certain age. When you're younger, you don't mind being away from home.
It's exciting to be away from home.
Exactly. The older you get, you're like, but my parents are getting older, and I need to spend more time with them, and I want to be there for them.
Exactly.
And my family is all consuming and all loving, and they've just swallowed him whole. And we just don't get to see his family as much. And yesterday he was so almost devastated about it. He was like, how are we going to make this work so that we give equal love and time to my parents? And I said, whatever it is, or however it is that we approach our future,
Yeah.
that has to be something that we think about.
You have to put that into consideration.
It has to be.
Because,
It
you know,
has
as
to be.
much as he might be having like fun and enjoying time with you and your family, that's like for you, it's like the easiest part.
Exactly.
Because, like, even though you're saying, like, you know, your parents, everybody has already consumed him. Now you have to look at his side as well, like, where, like, now the parents are looking at it like, yo, our son is gone.
Exactly.
Is in a
And
completely different country, like, and I can just imagine, like, for a mom, maybe just think about like his mom.
And every distant attack.
My God.
And every flight that comes falling through the sky.
Yeah.
This poor woman is thinking,
Yeah.
my son. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and he loves Kenya so much, and his passion is in basically trying to make any kind of positive change within the health sector here, which is so fantastic. And because he's basically doing, you know, in the health sector in rural Kenya, his mom is even more afraid because he's just traveling
It's
to
hardships
rural,
and all these other
constantly.
things that, you know.
But that's what he chooses. It's his choice.
Yeah.
He is a man that is not just going to do things for the sake of doing it. He wants his life to mean something. He wants to do whatever he can in this world to, you know, especially to progress health in rural Africa. And I think that's fantastic because it's not the easiest job in the world.
No, it's not.
Nothing about it is easy.
I can't do it.
Nothing
for,
about it
for
is
me, I'd
easy.
go insane. I can't do it.
Exactly.
I just can't.
And he is just, that's what he wants to do. And his parents are so loving and so amazing, and they recognize this in their son. They recognize he can have a way easier life.
Yeah.
They recognize that we, as a couple, can have a way easier life if we just move to Austria. But we choose Kenya.
Stay in Kenya.
We choose Africa. We choose this
Yeah.
pulse, this
Yeah.
crazy life that we live in because
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Okay, when it comes to relationship, I also have to talk about things like let's say just like finance. Like when you're dating someone, like this is like just before like you met him, like what was the main thing like you're looking for someone? Would you say like was something like finance important to you? Like he has to be like in a very nice financial position, because you know the things that are pushed like on
Yeah.
media, in reality shows and everything is like, I want a successful man,
Exactly.
so that ABC and I think like even right now there's so much pressure in like just men in general that, you know, failure is like not an option. And it gets to like a lot of people's heads. And that's why like even in my podcast people have been asking me like, yo, why don't you have like men in your podcast and stuff? But nobody wants to come here
come and just
and just
share,
be
be
vulnerable
open
and just be
share.
open and say like, yo, my business is not working
It's not
out.
exactly.
This
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure things out. Guys don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
No, but they want to keep
But-
everything together
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah. So you see, there's just too much pressure. But is that one of the things? Like, let's say when you're looking for someone before, like you met him, was that like, you know, on your top list? Like, you know, he has to be.
Absolutely not. And
No?
no, but I'm strange like that. My mother thinks I'm crazy. I mean, it's definitely
Your
more-
mother thinks you're
yeah,
crazy?
Because even when I was young, I'm like, I don't care if I live in a shack on the beach, as long as I live with the person I love. But that's changed, obviously.
That's a breath of fresh
no,
air.
I mean, but I'm telling
Oh
you.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
changed.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, you know, 6 years later, I'm thinking, okay. I mean, the shack sounds lovely. I would love it to have a
But of course,
beautiful,
long-term.
beautiful bathroom and like function. And I have
yeah.
it function. So yes, of course, finances are important.
Mm-hmm.
On my radar, that's not very important.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like for the two of us to know that we will lead a comfortable life,
Yeah.
and we'll be able to give all of these beautiful things that we have had in our life to our children,
To even your children.
that we are able to at some point give back, and that we're able to take care of our families. If we manage those things,
Yeah.
I will be really happy. But under no circumstance or ever have I looked at a man that I'm attracted to or seen a future with and said, the financial status isn't good enough, I ain't gonna go there. Not at all. I believe that we will create that ourselves. I do, however, believe that I go for very ambitious men. So the ambition equals a certain level or a certain amount of comfort and finance, correct? So
Because
that's what I think of.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Because I'm thinking like, in life, as long as you're working towards something and you have a goal, money is something that anybody can achieve. You can achieve if you're focused in like.
If you're focused enough, absolutely you can achieve.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that even building that together is in a relationship
it more
is
like?
beautiful.
Isn't it more? Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I think I was asking somebody this, like in a previous podcast, that like even in like just Kenya in general, like right now, we don't have like those power couples that you see driving the agenda of just being like together and everything. It's all like about there's nothing wrong with like women independency and everything, but I think once you start having that agenda, it's like, you know, I'm a woman, I don't need a man in my life. Yes, I mean, okay, I don't know how.
You kind of do, and it's nice to be able to have those people in your life.
That's what I'm saying. But if you think about like, it's not being really pushed so much right now, because we were thinking of like, who are like the power couples that you think you can look up to, who are just like, we're just talking about love.
Exactly.
Not like finance or you fabricated like on a TV show and everything.
I mean, you know how much I hate that? You know how much
Yeah.
I see couples who are like couple goals and they have their Armani suits and their dresses and they're
Exactly.
going to fancy places. And they, you know, I literally cannot stand that. Couple goals are people who live together, who compromise, and who are happy.
Yeah.
Bas.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's couple goals. That's where I want to reach. That's where I want to be. I want to have a dependent husband, a loyal, loving husband, and a beautiful, caring father to my children. That is what I want. I want us to play Scrabble on the rooftop and to wake up happy and make each other tea. And it doesn't matter what we are wearing or where we're going or what champagne we're drinking or any of that. That does not matter. That is not couple, like, those are not couple goals. Those are lifestyle goals.
Yeah, and I think you'll be one of the few people who start now like just pushing that agenda. Because like when I see you online with him, you're just like, just doing regular stuff.
Yeah.
Like just cooking in the kitchen and stuff and just having fun just with life. I haven't seen you like, you know, doing anything lavish or extravagant in the name of like, this is what love is.
Exactly.
No, I just see you guys doing like the simplest things and you're always just like happy. And when I see that, I'm like, yo, this is what it's supposed to be like. Because anybody else in a different platform would be like, in a lavish hotel, we're doing this. That's not love.
That's not love.
First of all, you're just telling people who are like even trying to be in love that
That
you know,
this is what the level of love is.
Yeah,
if
this
you don't
is what
have
love
that, it's not love.
Yeah,
and
even
then all this pressure on the, you know,
social media.
Exactly.
And everything just comes and self-destructs on your relationship.
Exactly, because you're not attaining those
Couple goals.
couple goals. Yeah.
So important
It
and
is
refreshing
important.
to hear this. So we're just wrapping up on the love segment.
Yes.
And my last question on love would be, do you believe in marriage?
Big time. Of course I believe in marriage.
So do you see yourself like, you know, you guys just, I'm assuming your marriage is going to be like those front beach thingies.
That's
you just look like an artsy, come on.
What?
You're
That's
just like an open book for that. Yeah.
My wedding is going to be barefoot on the beach. Friends of mine playing a ukulele.
You see, I mean,
Lots of love, lots of sunflowers.
I'm not even a rocket scientist to figure that out, but I can just see like those are the things that make you genuinely happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, you do believe in marriage. I'm guessing you also want to have kids maybe in future.
Of course.
How many?
I think at the age that I am at, maybe 2. I mean, I would say 1, but having just, you know, a single child, you need them to have some company.
You want companies. Okay.
So I think 2.
2? Two,
You know,
two should be the least.
No. I think 2 is maximum.
Wow,
2,
maximum.
Yeah, 2.
Have you discussed this with a significant other, or you've made the mind? You've made up the mind.
No, we've discussed it. You know, I will not stop myself from thinking about adoption as well. I've always believed that there are just too many kids out there that don't have loving families.
True.
And if there is any way, if it pops up in any way, and it makes sense in every possibility to adopt a child, that is definitely something that I'm thinking about doing.
Nice. So let's just move from love. Like that was just too deep. We've talked about a lot. So now let's just to wrap up like the podcast. Of course, we are not yet there. We're not
Yeah.
yet done. I see you do like a lot of physical like activities because we're talking about balancing life and everything.
Right.
You're swimming with, you just say dolphins, whales. You're doing scuba diving. You're doing your swimming. You're doing all these things. How do you just maintain like even like just your physique? Because I know you eat.
I eat.
I've seen
I
her eat.
eat
The first time I
like
saw her
a
eating.
man, like a big man.
You remember the first time I saw you eating? I told you like, yo, we need to do a review.
Oh yeah,
We need
it's
to
true.
do a review.
An
And
entire big burger.
Yeah.
like
And
that.
after we did that burger, you know, like the hotel like just got sold. Like people had to make reservations
Oh,
because
really?
of that
It was
video.
Great.
Yeah. Like people just saw that. Everybody was like, I need to
I
have
want
that
that
burger.
burger.
I need to have that burger. But how do you just take care of yourself? Because we know anybody, because people will go to your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying this, like, you know, they'll see like your pictures doing all these things. Like you do a bit of, is it upside down yoga? What's that
well,
called?
No, I don't. No, I don't do that. No, I mean
I didn't. Wasn't that?
I know I've attempted.
Oh, you attempted to do that?
No, look. If I have to be really honest,
Yeah.
I'm really I'm not actually that physically active.
Or you just have like
I just do
good
a lot of
metabolism?
yes, and I just do a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
You know, like adventures and travel.
Yeah.
And things that are sort of, you know, physically active. But I'm not. I mean, I should be a lot better with myself in terms of health.
Because
And
you see, like,
physical
even in my
exercise.
questions, do you see here? Do you see this point?
Bikini. Which one?
Oh, yes.
That?
Yeah, because we're
No.
talking about physique. When you're posting, like, your pictures, like, I saw this, was it a picture or a video? Like, you're just underwater, like, doing, like, I think it was snorkeling
Yes.
in a bikini. It's
Yeah.
like a really just nice picture. The composition of the picture, but I'm just saying, like, you seem like you
I seem
take
like
care
I
of
do a lot
yourself.
of
You take care.
exercise.
Yeah, you take care of yourself.
I do take care of myself,
Yeah.
but I honestly would be lying if I tell you that I go to the gym regularly or that I do the type of exercise that you should do every day to have a balanced life. That is probably where I'm the least balanced,
Really?
actually. Yes.
So is it just genes or?
Genes, metabolism, and I mean, not that I don't do physical exercise.
Yeah.
I just don't do it every day, and
Oh.
I don't do it in the way that I probably should.
Yeah.
Those are things that I should absolutely work more towards,
Focus
especially
on.
after getting after a specific age, and then you want to have babies, and you want to
You
make sure you
have
have
to.
that energy.
Yeah.
For sure. But honestly, if I had to, you know, I'm very lucky. I've actually put on some nice curves, and which I really like. I used to be very skinny. But things like the gym.
Have you been a model at some point? Like
I'm too short to be a model.
No, listen, because
like
when
for
it comes to
photographs,
modeling,
yes.
like modeling doesn't mean like runway. But if somebody goes to your Instagram, first of all, they think you're a model.
Oh, well, that's sweet.
No. Am I lying?
No, I have done a lot of modeling.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about?
Especially earlier on in my life, and
Yeah.
a lot of acting.
Yeah.
And so I'm very comfortable
Yeah.
with putting whatever out there. I don't even care what I look like. I mean, I really, really, really love the idea of embracing who you are,
Yeah.
what your body looks like, and not trying to change everything. I really embrace it.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem at my age putting a bikini picture up.
Not everybody can post a bikini picture, you know that,
I'm
right?
totally gonna wear my bikini, and if I'm rocking it, I'm gonna take a photo
And
I'm
post
gonna,
it,
And
yeah.
I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna say to everybody, all the women out there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people ask me, for example, you know, how do I deal with stretch marks, for example? I have stretch marks, like a lot of them. And you know what? I embrace them.
You embrace them.
I embrace everything. I have
Yeah.
knobbly knees, and I have just, you know,
The
not
smallest things that maybe people wouldn't know that you're
Yeah.
insecure about, but
Exactly.
you also go through the same.
And the reason why I'm so open about those things is
Yeah.
I want, this is your body, this is your temple.
You need to
You
understand
need
and
to understand
appreciate
it,
it.
appreciate it, and love it.
Yeah.
And I know that's not easy for everybody. We all have our self our self-doubts and the things that we are insecure about. But as much as humanly possible, don't let social media and the pressure of what you should look like and what you should put out there. You just do what feels right to you.
Because I think if somebody goes to that YouTube video we're talking about that has like 54 million views, that's 2008, right?
Yes.
And they come see your videos right now, you look exactly the same.
No.
Am I lying?
No, I don't look exactly
No,
the
listen,
same at all.
but no. I mean, I'll just ask people. I'll just put a poll like.
There are
stop
things,
playing.
I swear.
But if we just
That's
put side and side,
sweet.
like there are very small differences.
Changes.
Very small. That can't even be picked up. Like just like a guy, I can't pick anything up. Like, because even for me, if somebody just changes their hairstyle, like I don't even notice.
You don't even notice?
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, it would be really hard. But I'm just saying, like, even from that whole period, like you've really like maintained like kind of your image and stuff. Maybe it's the good genes
That's for
and
sure.
everything.
That's important.
Yeah.
Image is very important. Your
Yeah.
brand, who you are, is important. My brand is just who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not the most fashionable human being in the world.
Please, come on.
I really am not.
No, come
I'm a
on.
My mom gets so upset at me. She's like, get those hippie things off. You're going for an interview, wear a pair of heels and a nice skirt, put some makeup on, at least brush your hair.
Oh, like there's the formal, like a ponytail maybe.
Yes, and
Yeah.
things that I'm just like,
No,
I'm
this
just
is
gonna
not
be
me.
me.
This is not me. Yeah.
But I think, not to say that I have not taken care of myself. That's not it. I do everything I can in my power to
You try your
to
best.
make myself be healthy, eat healthy, be active. But I think, again, the recipe for all of these things is happiness.
Happiness.
Really, I truly, honestly believe it.
Okay, so I mean, we've touched on health and everything, and now we're just wrapping. Now we're actually wrapping up the podcast, because I know you have to go for a meeting.
got a meeting.
Yeah, you have things to do. Like, I understand, and thank you so much for coming through. But now, as we're just finalizing, just as an artist, we know like just our mental well-being is so super important, because we are artists. All we have is like our minds.
Our thoughts.
It's our thoughts. That's how we create what we create. That's how we wake up in the... Because, we don't have like formulas.
No.
Bankers have like formulas. We have a strategy this year.
Exactly.
These are the numbers we
These
need.
Exactly.
Let's follow this. This is what we'll achieve at the end of the year. As an artist, every single day you wake up, it's like you have to wake up with
things in your mind.
Yeah, like
separate it all. And
and then you just have
compartmentalize things and
everything. It's always like a chain of thought every single day. So with all these things that are happening, like in social media pressure, maybe just putting like your relationship, making sure your relationship is in a good place, things that are the devastation of things that are happening in the news surrounding environment, because it's not even just about you just being happy. All these other things that are happening around you. How do you maintain your sanity? Because mental the stress levels right now are just completely different
like
from...
Sometimes you can't maintain your sanity. Sometimes you just gotta let loose a little bit. Sometimes things get very, very hard. And, like what we've experienced 2 days ago with that Ethiopian flight, and 157 people who were just going about their daily lives are now gone, and the impact it's had on so many people.
So many.
You can't just get up in the morning and just be like, well, this is just any other ordinary day. The world is insane, and we can't always keep our mental sanity, although, we have to try and find ways in which to go on with things, for sure. And I think as artists, we really take, not to say that other people don't take that as seriously emotionally, but I think that because our entire DNA makeup is about thinking, processing and expressing. That's literally all we do every day.
Yeah.
These things really have a very, very big impact on us, and it's very important that you don't let it suck you under.
Yeah.
Because getting criticism every day for your creative work, not being paid on time or being seen as a proper,
God.
like corporate entity.
If I just get the checks that I'm actually waiting for right now.
Exactly. So many things cause so much stress, and then it really causes you for self-doubt. Are you really doing the right thing? Why does this keep happening? One time after another? And a lot of friends of mine who aren't in the industry or aren't artists are like, Alisha, but I don't understand. It happens to you all the time. And I'm like, look, it's not that I'm going about it the wrong way. This is just the kind of stresses that you get in this sort of an environment within the artist industry, entertainment environment, that you don't get in other avenues. Unfortunately, and we have to find ways in which to not let that punch us down too far that we're not able to try again and get up and try again. The amount of times I have been given incredibly big opportunities. Here, this is for you. It's 99% there. And then the day before, take it back. The amount of times that has happened, I can't even tell you. It is literally part of our everyday life. And the only way that you can handle the mental stress of all of it is to find a way to just say, okay, another one bites the dust. There will be another opportunity, and I will fight harder for that, and I will fight harder for that. And I think that, social media, the pressures of what we do, everything that's happening in the world can honestly crumble you. And we have to find ways in which to see the positive of everything. There has to be a silver lining, even though sometimes you cannot, for now, see the silver lining. There has to be something.
Have you had at times to even turn down jobs because this is just going to drive me insane?
Yeah, of course.
So, because we are talking about all these things that you've mentioned, right? But how do you cope with it? Even I think that's why even some people, even if you see worldwide, some people people would have money, all these things, crazy things. You see how P. Diddy had a breakdown a few months ago.
Right.
He's one of those people who've been in Forbes and everything and internationally known. But you see even just as artists, at times
the world
people
just
everything can just come
everything
one day and
here.
But
exactly.
Some people extort to drugs. Some people start just doing
Sleeping
funny
pills,
things, sleeping pills. Anti-anxiety pills. But how do you cope with that? What's your one method of doing that?
Surround yourself with people you love.
And I keep saying that, and that's why, even at some point, that I was saying, I don't know how to stay around negative people.
No.
If you just keep saying, I can't do this, it drives me
you
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
Check out for a little bit. Say, time out. I'm going to go spend time with people who love me, who I love. I'm going to go do things that make me happy. I'm going to look after me first.
Yeah.
You come first. You are your own person, your own temple.
Yeah.
You have to be of sound mind and of sound soul and sound heart to be able to do all the things that you want to achieve in this life. You're not going to be able to do it otherwise. So sometimes when you have to take a little time out, take the time out.
Take it. Just chill out.
Yeah.
Take a break. Tell people,
do things that make you happy, even if it's for an hour in an hour of the day. Cooking makes me super happy. And sometimes when I just get too bogged down with life,
I see how happy you are when you're cooking.
I love to cook.
This is much fun like that.
I love to cook, and I love to go out to great restaurants and eat great food, which I know you do.
Yeah.
And I really like a good bottle of wine.
Oh yeah.
I'm a lover of wine.
I see you closing your eyes when you're saying
I am
that.
a lover of love, and I'm a lover of wine, and I'm a lover of food, and I'm a lover of travel, and I'm a lover of my family, and I'm a lover of people.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay, so one last question. On this I always ask every guest who I have on the podcast, we've talked about all these different things. If there's one thing right now you'd say that you're trying to find out, that's gonna feel like it's filling a gap of something that you've been chasing. Maybe it's the children that you're talking about. Maybe it's this big contract that you've been chasing, or maybe it's just a bond with maybe a family member or someone, or it's a pet. But what's that one thing that you think right now if it was like just given to you, like, or just handed over to you, it will take off like so much stress out of your life and just give you like
Wow.
a sense of peace and everything.
I would so love to give you a beautiful, idealistic answer,
Answer.
a romantic answer, but I'm not going to. I'm going to really tell you it's financial stability. Truly. I've worked way too long and way too hard, and somehow I just don't get to a place where I'm saving for my future. And it really scares me to think that in a couple of years I'm going to have children, and my parents are getting older, and I want to be able to do things for them. I want to
Yeah.
look after them like they've looked after me.
Spoil
I want
them
to
with
look after the
things.
people, our staff at home who've been with me forever. I don't
Yeah.
want them to have to suffer for another damn day. I really, really think that the thing that would change things for me would
Yeah.
be some sort of financial stability, because I'm so happy professionally in what I do.
Yeah,
But that doesn't
but
always
it's uncertain.
translate.
It's uncertain of
Exactly. Every month is different. There's no
especially
salary.
when
I've
it comes to
never
like
had
what we
a
do for a
salary.
living. Yeah. I never
Ever.
When sometimes when people are like, "Yo, it's end month, I'm getting this,"
You're like,
I'm always like, I can't even connect to
no,
that.
I can't.
Even my bank account doesn't connect to that at times. It's up. At
Up
times
and
it's
down,
up and down, up
exactly.
and down. Financial stability,
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like if you figure it all out, you'd be saying like,
Exactly.
I
I'd be
think
like,
I'm good.
I'd be like,
I'm good.
Goodness gracious me, I'm so happy. I cannot be happier. Again, remember, I would love to say that it's, something else. But if I really had to be true to myself,
That's
what it would be. Yeah.
nice. So we've had like a really nice podcast session, and just I don't know how I can thank you. Like I've told you, like I
what?
owe you. Like if you need me for anything,
I know that. I know that we
just
have each other's back.
add me on that emergency contact list.
I will.
And I can always like just rush in like when you need me.
I think the thing that we have to do is create our first production together.
Do it. Let's
I think
do
that's
it.
something we really need to
Let's do it this year. Let's not just talk about it, but
I'm not
let's
even
just
talking
do
about
it
this year. I'm
year.
talking about this month. I'm talking
Let's
about
do
like-
it. Let's do
yes.
it. I'm
Okay.
down for that.
Good.
I'm down for that.
Perfect. Watch this space, people.
So, I think we've talked about everything, and I can always bring Alisha back in, another podcast.
Exactly.
Probably in a few months, because this is gonna air. You'll know when it's gonna air. But yeah, we've talked about everything. There's nothing more like I can even add to this. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
through.
you so much for having me. And I really love the fact that you have these podcasts where people can just be vulnerable and really just talk what's really
Yeah.
actually happening in your world and in your heart, and not just, interviews where you say what you think, not what
Yeah.
you think, but you basically précis everything.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're able to just open people up and have a beautiful, honest conversation.
Because like you see, when people are seeing you on like your Instagram, a picture just leaves a lot for
be said.
interpretation.
Right.
So they wouldn't know like, how is she in an emotional space? How is this like? How do you figure all these things out?
Right.
She looks like she's already figured everything out.
Yep, she
This and
has
this.
not.
See, like we're all waking
Yeah.
up every single day to try and battle all these little struggles that we're going with. And when you talk about it, other people who are seated somewhere, they'd be like, it feels so good to hear somebody like that say that, because now I can connect to them.
Right.
I understand what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank
So-
you. I'm gonna get a kiss on my cheek. You've never actually,
No?
for the Kiss Bandit, I've
Okay,
never
hold on.
actually got a kiss.
That's gonna be a
Perfect.
thumbnail. So, boyfriend, just understand.
Just
this was just
understand.
being professional. Because if I post that now, that's where the clicks are going to come. So, if you haven't subscribed to my iTunes, the Kisscapades Podcast, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, the Kisscapades Podcast as well. Every single day of the week, I drop snippets, and on Saturday or Friday, I drop the full video. So be on the standby. Just be on standby for that, and we'll keep it rolling till the end of the year. As for
Perfect.
Alisha Popat, where can people find you?
Alisha Popat on everything: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even Twitter, Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
Alisha Popat everywhere. You'll find me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming through. So yeah, guys, see you in another episode of the Kisscapades Podcast. It's been real. Yeah, blow another kiss. Nice. Yeah. This was amazing.